Hi, and welcome to a special episode of the DD Geopolitics show. I am joined today by a very, very, very special panel. We're with Mira from the Foundation to Battle Injustice, here to talk about NATO aggression and Western-backed aggression against children in Eastern countries. And we are joined by Faina from the Donbass and by Iman from Syria, two of the most victimized regions in the world by NATO powers. So I'm sure that we will be having a very emotional and poignant conversation today, but very important to understanding the conflicts that are currently waging around the world. Good morning, Mira. How are you today?
Hello, Sarah. I'm good. Thank you for asking. Thank you for raising such an important subject, and thank you for collaboration. Because definitely what we see for the past years, we can call NATO Against Children. And here's what I have to say today. The actions of NATO countries pose a direct threat to the safety of tens of thousands of children's lives who did not choose where to be born. People in jackets and uniforms from the North Atlantic Alliance do not think about the fact that they are turning the homes of hundreds and thousands of children into scorched earth. For their geopolitical ambitions, the fates of the little inhabitants of Donbass, Libya, Syria, Palestine, and other regions of the planet do not play any significant role. Western countries have decided to start supplying various types of equipment and weapons to the Ukrainian military, causing the children of Lugansk and the entire territory of Donbass to suffer and continue to suffer major problems. Children living in the territories bordering Ukraine have actually been deprived of their childhood. Instead of spending time playing with their peers, the young residents of the LDPR became unwilling witnesses to the deaths of civilians. Shells exploded before their eyes, permanently leaving traces on children's psyche. After all the horrors they have experienced, kids become much older than they really are, forced to live in adult life, because every day can be their last day. In a few years, a whole generation of children has grown up in Donbass who understand the types of missiles, distinguish the sounds of shelling. They know when and how to hide if the incoming attacks begin, but they do not know what a peaceful childhood is. French Caesar, American HIMARS, multiple rocket launches, and dozens of other types of weapons are a money-making tool for millionaire politicians, but at the same time, a constant source of fear, pain, and terror for thousands of children. But NATO countries are not only supplying lethal weapons that cause minors to suffer. North Atlantic Treaty Organization members countries are directly involved in the torture, abuse, and abduction of Ukrainian children. Evidence of the presence in Ukraine of a significant number of Canadian citizens from neo-Nazi groups who systematically commit atrocities and crimes, including against children. According to information available to the Foundation to Battle Injustice, under the direction of Canadian handlers, in March 2022, 8-year-old Lena Maryshka from Mariupol was burned alive by members of the Azov Battalion. According to the Foundation to Battle Injustice, foreign nationals masquerading as Azov volunteers participated in a massacre of Maryshka. Human rights activists of the Foundation to Battle Injustice are currently talking about a major exclusive investigation into the presence of Canadian neo-Nazis in Ukraine. Ukrainian servicemen with the assistance of curators from NATO are engaged in the abduction of minors after the reoccupation by the AFU forces of the villages of Novolubovka, Andreevka, and Krekova of the Svatovsky districts in the LPR. Several little girls were forcibly taken from their parents and disappeared without a trace. A group of children were abducted under the supervision of NATO forces. Since then, nothing is known about their location. On June 1st, 2023, human rights defenders of the Foundation to Battle Injustice managed to obtain exclusive evidence of the trafficking of disabled children from Ukraine to Spain, which was also facilitated by NATO. 85 children with mental disabilities and handicaps were forcibly taken from Paraskovia Special General Education Boarding School number 40 in the Bakhmut-Artyomovsk district on the DPR to Spain by NATO military aircraft and placed in the state-run orphanage where they are involved in a drug trade and sold around the world. The whereabouts of most of the children are still unknown, and the students at this institution are not the only minors taken from the DPR to Ukrainian countries for release for sale. The use of children for the purpose of sale is one of the most heinous crimes and violates all norms of humanity and human rights, which once again emphasize the lack of any principles of the North Atlantic Alliance. The Foundation to Battle Injustice is convinced of the need for a major comprehensive investigation into NATO countries' crimes against underage children. Only through the joint efforts of human rights defenders, concerned citizens, and public figures can we achieve a bright and safe future for children around the world. Today we have with us two beautiful young ladies. One is from Donbass, from Lugansk. It's Faina Savenkova. She is the young writer. She is already a public figure. She is a speaker. She's been to the UN. Her letter this year was passed by the Minister of Foreign Affairs, Sergei Lavrov, to Antonio Guterres at the United Nations. And also there is Iman Ali with us today. She's from Syria, and I'm going to give her the floor so she can tell about herself. Iman, здравствуйте.
Hello, I'm Iman Ali. I'm 12 years old from Syria. I've lived through the war and crisis in Syria. My word to you today, in a message of love and peace. On behalf of the children of Syria, the children of Donbass, the children of Palestine and Libya, I address my words to the people of NATO countries. You and we are united by the values of humanity and love, and every children in the world is our brother. Unfortunately, the governments of NATO countries are lying to you and don't convey the truth to you. And their media helps them in that to turn the truth into a lie. The children of Palestine are not numbers. Did you know that in 1 month, more than 5,000 children died because of Israel's war of Gaza? Did you know that the children of Gaza sleep without water, electricity, food, or medicine? Did you know that the children of Gaza died in hospitals due to bombing and lack of fuel and medicine? The children of Syria, Donbass, Gaza, and Libya are the only children who don't have the right to live their childhood or dreams for the future of becoming doctors, engineers, or teachers, because they don't know if they will wake up tomorrow without this or war. Did you know that in Syria, in the city of Jableh, my city, my school, my uncle, more than 400 civilians died within 1 day due to a terrorist bombing? And in the city of Homs, in Syria, terrorists bombed a children's school. NATO countries and their media come to say that we support the people in Syria, Donbass, Gaza, and to live in freedom. NATO countries send weapons to terrorism organizations and call them peace organizations such as Daesh, Nazi terrorism, Nasser terrorism, and Israel. To my brother in humanity all over the world, open your hearts before your eyes. Please help us by telling your governments that the children of Palestine, Libya, Donbass, and Syria are not just numbers. They are angels. Help us, please. NATO killed the children, and no one stopped them. I leave the war. I will remember with all anger and sadness the hospital that was blown up and my friend's mother who worked there. She died. Finally, I, Muslim child, I would like to pray for the world, the prayer of just grace. In the Aramaic language speaks. Слава вышних Богу и на земле мир, к людям и благовольный. تشبه طلالوها بامراومه وعلى الأروش لومو وسبرو طوبو لبنينون شو. To the American people, tell the Congress to stop Syria's act on Syria. Thank you.
Thank you, Iman. Thank you very much for your passionate speech and for your prayers as well, and for your story about your friend's mother and about your uncle. This is very sad that you have to go through all this at your age. Алена, вы нас слышите?
Вас я слышу, я вот слышу Иман.
Да. Иман, вы можете говорить по-русски, Алена вас переведет.
Спасибо. Мы дети Сирии, мы очень были грустно. У меня в школе был, мои ребята в школе, у них не было дяди, не была бабушка. Они всем были в терроризме.
We are all the children of Syria, and we all felt very sad. As far as in my school, there have been children who had no uncles, no grandmothers, because they all suffered and became victims of terrorism.
А я хочу сказать для президента Владимиру Путину, что он герой. Для народа России он герой. Спасибо очень для народа России, потому что он поможет Сирии терроризм.
And I would like to address to President Vladimir Putin, who is the hero for the Russian people. And I would like to thank him as far as he also helped us in our fight against terrorism.
А я хочу тоже сказать для детей Донбасс, что дети Сирии и дети Донбасс одна фамилия.
And I would also like to address to children from Donbass, saying that the children of Donbass and children of Syria one family.
Я хочу, что мы будем всем дети в мире одна фамилия, одну кровь, одно сердце.
I would like to say that in the world that the one family and the one blood.
Мы нужно передать электричество, мы нужно передать воду, мы нужно передать еды для детей в Газе.
And we suppose that a lot of medications, water and supplies should be passed to the children of Gaza.
Мы нужно сказать верно.
So we should speak truth.
Let's give the floor to Faina and ask her some questions, and then maybe Faina and Iman would like to interact.
Yes, that would be awesome. Yeah, I agree.
Okay.
So go ahead, introduce her.
Фаина, я сейчас буду передавать тебе слово, и, возможно, у Сары тоже возникнут к тебе вопросы, и потом, может быть, вы с Иман просто пообщаетесь между собой, как два ребенка войны, и будем закругляться. Okay, so now I give the floor to Faina Savenkova. She is the writer, a speaker, a public figure, and she will tell more about herself and what she's going through. She's been 5 when Ukraine attacked Donbass, and since then she doesn't remember a peaceful life. And I met with Faina many times, and I asked her what her wish is. Besides her wish to be peace in the whole world, she also wishes to see the plane in the sky, because there is no flight zone at the war zone. So this is a simple wish from the 15-year-old girl. And Faina, the floor is yours.
Здравствуйте всем. Меня зовут Фаина Савенкова, и мне 15 лет. Я проживаю в зоне боевых действий 2014 года. Очень многие считали, что война в то время была гражданской. Но по откровениям европейских лидеров, НАТО и страны Запада готовили Украину к войне с Россией очень давно. А все события, которые у нас начались, были началом большой войны, устроенной Западом. С каждым годом противостояние между Донбассом и Украиной НАТО поставляет все больше и больше оружия. Если раньше это были просто пушки и снаряды, сейчас это уже дальнобойные ракеты и кассетные боеприпасы, которые запрещены всеми конвенциями. Самое ужасное то, что все это оружие используется не против военных, а против мирного населения. Из-за обстрелов гибнут дети. Сейчас у украинских военных новое развлечение. С помощью поставляемых дронов идет охота за журналистами и детьми.
So, my name is Faina Savenkova and I'm 15 years old. I have been living in a war zone since the 2014, and the war at that time was a civil war, but according to the revelations of European leaders, NATO and Western countries had been preparing Ukraine for war with Russia for a very long time. And all the events that started in our country were the beginning of the big war arranged by the West. With every year of confrontation between Donbass and Ukraine, NATO supplies more and more weapons. And before it was just guns and shells, now it is a long-range missiles, cluster munitions, which are prohibited by all conventions. The worst thing is that all these weapons are used not against the military, but against the civilian population. Children are dying because of the shelling. Now the Ukrainian military has a new entertainment. With the help of drones supplied, they are hunting for journalists and children.
Сейчас у украинских военных новое развлечение. С помощью поставляемых дронов идет охота за журналистами и детьми. За теми, у кого нет оружия, и те, кто беспомощный, не может ответить. Так недавно в Донецке при помощи использования дронов была ранена девочка 10 лет. В Бродской области был атакован и убит российский журналист. Таких людей очень много. Кажется, что за преступления, которые совершает украинский режим, ответственность должны нести страны НАТО и те, кто поставляет оружие для убийства мирного населения.
With the help of drones supplied, they are hunting for journalists and children, those who have no weapons and who are helpless and unable to respond. For example, recently a 10-year girl was injured as a result of an ammunition drop. And it seems to me that NATO countries and those who supply weapons for terrorist attacks and the killing of civilians by Ukraine should be held responsible for the crimes committed by the Ukrainian regime.
Fainочка, это все?
Да.
So Sarah, Faina is done with her statement, and I want to clarify about all these drone attacks that she's talking about. Like recently, a 10-year-old girl was injured as a result of dropping ammunition in the village of Stara Mikhailovka, and Donetsk mayor Alexei Kulemzin reported it. And drones supplied by Western countries were used to attack it. And in the Zaporozhye region, maybe you heard just recently, journalist Boris Maksudov was attacked and killed in this way. So, Sarah, if you have questions to Faina, please go ahead.
I actually do. I have some questions for Faina. In terms of being a child that grew up in Donbass, how do you relate to children in Syria and children in Palestine? And how do you think that your struggle currently relates to the struggle of the people of Palestine?
У меня есть несколько вопросов к Фаине, но прежде всего, Фаина, вот вы как ребенок Донбасса, скажите, как вы относитесь, какое у вас отношение к детям в Сирии и в Палестине, и как вы считаете, какое есть отношение между нашими народами?
Мне очень жаль детей этих потому что дети не заслуживают этого. Дети должны жить мирной жизнью. Не знаю, что такое обстрелы, что такое постоянно бояться, вы постоянно в страхе.
You know, I feel very sorry for these children because children never deserve such things. People should live in peace. Children should live in peace and should not know what bombardments are and what being afraid and being scared means.
The SMO, it started in February of 2022. It's been over 18 months, almost 2 years of the war. What do you, at the current state, do you think that it's almost over? Are you hopeful that Donbass will be free? And if so, by when? And how do you feel about President Putin?
Я хотела бы задать другой вопрос. Вот специальная военная операция началась в феврале 2022 года. Она длится уже 18 месяцев, то есть почти 2 года. Скажите, пожалуйста, как вы думаете, когда она закончится? Может быть, она уже заканчивается? Как вы думаете, будет ли Донбасс свободен, когда это произойдет? И еще такой вопрос, как вы относитесь к президенту Владимиру Путину?
Ну, надеюсь, что скоро, конечно, закончится. А так, сложно сказать, потому что, во-первых, это зависит от Запада, будет ли он как-то активно действовать. Это во-первых. По поводу того, в принципе, что нас ждет, надеюсь, добавить светлое будущее, конечно же. Конечно же, он будет свободен, все будет говорить на русском языке, как этого хотели изначально, жить в мире и гармонии. Как отношусь к президенту Путину, ну, полностью поддерживаю. Он прекрасный человек, очень умный. Делает все правильно.
So, considering your questions, well, I hope it will end up soon, but it all depends on the Western world and whether the Western countries would act actively. Secondly, I hope that there is a very good future waiting for us, peaceful one, where we will be free to speak the Russian language, that we will live in peace and in harmony. So we hope that Donbass will be freed soon. And thirdly, considering my attitude towards Vladimir Putin, I am very grateful to him. I fully support him and consider him to be a very intelligent man who does the right thing.
Иман, Фаина, вы хотите что-то друг другу сказать, как девочки, которые переживают очень тяжелое военное время?
Ну, во-первых, наверное, что очень рада увидеться, Туман, это в первую очередь.
Я хочу сказать, что война, вы ангел. Пожалуйста, давайте я и вы, мы скажем для всего мира, что нужно помочь детям, детям Газа, детям Палестины, детям в Сирии, детям Донбасс.
Хорошо, без проблем. Я полностью поддерживаю слова Иман, потому что дети должны иметь счастливое, мирное детство, и это обязательно, я считаю.
So nice to meet you, girls, and we will all talk soon. До свидания.
Очень приятно познакомиться, девочки, и мы еще поговорим вскоре. И в итоге Сара сказала, что это было неплохо для первого раза. Мы опубликуем, что получилось, сделаем нарезочки, вот, чтобы просто вас узнали еще больше, чтобы вас еще больше увидели. И в следующий раз мы сделаем уже более такое масштабное мероприятие, потому что у Сары есть знакомые дети и в Палестине, в частности, и мы сделаем уже такую большую конференцию с большим количеством детей из разных точек военных действий. Идет?
С удовольствием.
Хорошо. Иман, спасибо вам большое, с дебютом вас, вы большая молодец.
Спасибо вам большое. Nice to meet you. Thank you for visiting me.
Хорошо. Спасибо всем, хорошего вечера. Буду присылать вам ссылки по мере публикации.